me get all situated here. Oh boy, I have been away for a while, as you know, or maybe you don't. But anyway, I'm so glad to be back. Uh, Now, if I could just learn how to talk, stand by. I'm just retweeting it. There we go. Now everyone can see that we are live. Both myself and Brad Staggs joining me, of course, today because when Brad does join me for one of these episodes, it's a lot of fun and we cover a lot of ground. And it's just kind of, if you missed the first barfly or barfly, I put your camera on, by the way.
Thank you.
Barfly. It's more fun to call it barfly. Did you get your pants on? Should I take you off the screen real quick?
Why bother?
Okay, right.
Why do we
how are
really
you
need
today?
pants? I am so amazingly good, and I'm crediting the heroine
Okay,
of the
that's
story.
good. That's good.
Not heroin,
Oh,
the drug, the heroine of the story. What's wrong with you?
I didn't get a chance to even say
Wow,
anything.
that's
So
just crazy.
can I just point out that I have a candle lit behind me, and I would like you to inform me, and maybe y'all in the chat could tell me if you see a fire start, because this is as far away as I can get it from the wall, and it's a little warm over here, I'd say. I got a plan, though. I got water ready to go. It's not alcohol.
I'm queer for candles, so I'm in.
Okay. Have you ever had any issues with candles or fire?
It's funny you should ask, because I learned a valuable lesson. This is late 90s, and lived in Nashville, and we had a little candle stick thingy do that was made apparently out of cardboard, but who knew? And anyway, the candle was on it and it was lit, and it was in the little den area, and I came out of the bathroom at the end of the hall and looked down the hall, and I'm like, why does it look smoky between here and the kitchen? And I walked in, and that candle had burned down onto the candlestick, caught the candlestick on fire because it was cardboard, and it had fallen on the floor and caught the baseboard on fire and was going up the wall. And I ran into the kitchen, and there was a pot, like a spaghetti pot. I think it was dirty too. I think it was in the sink, but it had water, soapy water. I just grabbed it and threw it in the corner, and it. Yep, the house is gone now. But
I do have a question. The house is gone.
House is gone.
I thought it worked.
Oh, it did. No, they tore the house down a couple of years ago. This is,
okay.
So I didn't burn the house down, and technically, I think it was.
How long were you in the bathroom to allow the fire to spread up the wall and stuff?
Well, who knows how long it had been there on the floor?
I see. Okay. So Brad Staggs is here for our Barfly episode, where it just, gosh, in the spirit of this kind of episode, I'm supposed to be drinking, like we're just hanging out at a bar. So shame on me for only having water. I'll try to drink this real fast so that I can make room in it, because that's the only cup I have up here right now. I actually cleaned up for once. Well, I mean, you wouldn't really know it, but there's no dirty dishes here anymore.
I could be drinking moonshine.
Yes. Okay, so that's what this is. Hold on, let me.
One never knows.
Okay, so now I made room. No. Okay. And Brad, I'm dragging you in here tomorrow as well.
Oh, that's right. Do that. I can't wait.
Our mutual friend Ed Bishop will join me, and then a week from today, Steve Friend will talk about FBI history. First time we had Steve in here, we talked about what's wrong with the FBI, and oh my gosh, somehow we got it to fit within 2 hours. I don't know how. And then next Friday, George Huntley of the Connells and Jack Helmuth will be here. I got to get you and Jack in here at the same time again as well. I know that you guys have fun on here. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. We did. That was fun. Yeah. My memory sucks, and until it's jogged these days, I mean, it's just I don't remember anything. And then somebody reminds me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Let's see here. I haven't done this in 2 weeks. and it feels like I haven't done this in 2 years because nothing is where it's supposed to
Are we
be.
talking about sex or
Yes,
your
yes, right, yeah.
okay, just checking.
All right,
Friend.
so where do we wanna start? You wanna start talking about Nazis? Let's talk about Nazis. What do you think?
Nazis
Because
are always, fun to talk about.
yeah,
Absolutely.
topic number 1. Oh, no, hold on, John McLaughlin, the McLaughlin Group, on PBS back in the day. Issue 1, Nazis,
Page
good or bad? Buchanan. A lot of that is
good
just
or
taken from Dana Carvey's Saturday Night
bad.
Live. Well, I mean, I guess they're bad, John.
I'm gonna
Incorrect.
I'm gonna
It's
go with
much more
bad.
nuanced.
Uh-huh. You know, Hil Hitler was a great conversationalist, they say.
Was he though?
I don't know.
It was
But
like he
it's
yelled a
weird. Think
lot.
about his voice. Yeah, that's just it. Nobody ever thinks about his voice. There's a clip on YouTube somewhere of Hitler and his just like his speaking voice. And it's weird because
Oh yeah,
you
I
don't
don't
think of
know
it
that
because I got
I don't know
Heinz
that I've heard
Weingart
that.
is nine. That's what you usually hear. That's the extent of my German, by the way. But
Uh huh.
yeah,
Sounds
you
good.
don't
What did you
usually
say?
I said no, 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 I think. At least I think either that or just the number 9 over and over.
I see. Yeah.
One of the 2.
Well, you could have fooled me either way. So, obviously, after World War II, it's no secret through Operation Paperclip that a lot of these Nazis and their scientists ended up working in the West. They're a big part of the advancement of technologies in the United States, but I guess a lot of them ended up in other parts of the world.
Well, but Russia did it too.
Yeah,
Russia
yeah,
did it too.
okay,
They, Russia grabbed, we had Werner von Braun and I don't know how many others, but um Russia did the same thing. They grabbed themselves some Nazis and used them. And I guess, technically all through the Cold War, but and is that gonna say is that right or wrong? But
hmm hmm yeah,
we
that
ended
that
up winning
I know, man. Did
World
we?
War II.
Oh yeah, World War II. Yeah, sure. I thought you were gonna say the Cold
But
War.
no, but then we used we used Werner von Braun and his knowledge.
hmm
But see, that gets me down a rabbit hole because
hmm
as of late, I don't trust anything, anyone, anywhere on the planet with
Doesn't that
regard to
suck, man?
it does, including our government. And it just shows you that the governments have no long-term friends. They just have long-term interests,
Boy,
and
that's the
that's it.
truth.
And they'll
That
do
is the
whatever it
truth.
takes. But no, I think what you're getting at is, well, how did they get down into South America?
Oh
And
wait, what a smooth segue. Yeah,
right. Well, it's weird though, because I mean that was a big. It was almost a conspiracy theory that there were
right,
Nazis, but
right.
the thing is, in the '60s, the and I had heard this story before, but I was just reminded of it. The story of Ricardo Clement, who was uh, to most people, he was just a guy who worked at the Mercedes-Benz automotive plant. And they ended up grabbing him one night on the street as he was going home. And this is in Argentina. And so he's coming home from his little Mercedes-Benz job, and he gets out of the bus, and as soon as he starts down to a walk down the street, he's grabbed by 2 dudes who are next to a limousine with a chauffeur, and they throw him in the back of the limousine, and off they go. And it turns out that Ricardo Clement was actually Adolf Eichmann. He had been hiding down
Oh,
there in
rem-
Argentina
oh my
all those
goodness.
years.
Remind us who
He was
Adolf
the
Eichmann.
lieutenant colonel, and he was the Nazi who was behind the transport of all the European Jews to the concentration
Mm,
camps.
mm. If anybody
And
deserved the gallows, it would be that guy.
yeah,
So, can I just point out though, boy, they do things differently now. So they used to kidnap you and put you in a limo instead of an unmarked van with no
I don't know
seats in
what
it.
they would describe as a limo, but I
Okay.
guess it was um, they say it was a black Buick limousine.
Wow. All
I
right.
don't know
And
if that
so,
was just what they
what
happened to
did
have on
they?
hand or what.
Where'd they?
Maybe
Where'd they take him?
I'm guessing they took him. I think they took him to Israel, didn't they? I think at that point because it turned out to be the uh, the Israeli Secret Service agents who grabbed him.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. So this is
So
okay. So in other words, clearly they were in South America
yeah,
if they found this guy living under assumed name. So when I get to my story later, there's obviously precedence on high-ranking Nazis ending up in South America.
yeah, and that's just it. Well, in the I think the thing that I
Look at this.
discovered about that is
See?
the fact that there were it was the methodology through which they got there too. And it was
Mhm.
a lot of it was the Catholic Church.
Boom! Look at Emily Hill's comment right there. She
Yeah.
says smuggled
Yeah.
out Germany with the help of the Catholic Church. Yeah,
They were called rat lines.
that's interesting that both you and Emily are talking about the Catholic Church because that'll come into play um, when I get to my story here as well. Any other Nazis in South
No, I'm
America you
just
want to enlighten
I'm
us on?
trying no, but I was trying to remember back in I don't know the 70s because the Hitler and the Nazis and the National Enquirer. Because when you and I first talked about this, it was like, was Hitler ever in Argentina? Did he not commit suicide in
Mm.
Germany?
Yeah, did he
And
make
did
it?
he
Because
right?
a lot of German artifacts made it. Look at this. Check this out. I mean, you want to talk about? I mean, the Nazis and their artifacts definitely made it to South America.
Who who would have brought those along though? That's the weird thing. Why
Yeah,
would you if
yeah.
you're a
You're trying to get out with
Nazi,
your life.
yeah,
It was
if you're a
obviously
part of the
important
Nazi
to.
party,
Mhm.
why do you bring that stuff with you? Because that's kind of a dead giveaway.
Yeah. What? No. How did these get in here? I don't know.
And why is the
Yeah.
oh, I thought that said DEA.
No.
Sorry, I had
No.
my vision is obscured from equipment. So yeah, how did all that stuff make it to
Right.
Argentina? Did
And I'm sure it
did
didn't all
people
come in the
did
same
they think it was
shipment.
going to be valuable?
Did they think they were going to start the Third Reich anew in South America, and they needed all their treasures and whatnot? See, they needed their little eagle thing.
And I'm still pissed off that they ruined the swastika.
I know. It used to mean good luck.
It used to
In
be,
fact,
and you find it all over ancient technology. You
oh
find
yeah, okay.
its use I mean, thousands of years. For thousands of years, it was not a symbol of evil. And then Hitler comes along and F's it all up for everybody.
I actually have a coin that has just a bunch of good luck charms, around in a circle in the back of this coin, and like there's a four-leaf clover or stuff like that. And then one of them is the swastika. And the first time I saw that, I was like, "What?" And so I guess you know what? I guess you can start the rumor now. Keith actually owns
Is
a,
a
a swastika. What does that
secret
tell
Nazi.
you about?
Well, there was a swastika magic company too, back in the early 1900s.
Really?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
It was not the symbol of evil that it became later.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
were born after that, so all of our lives we've just known it as a symbol of evil.
Yeah. Well, you want to segue into
Oh,
the
no,
perfect
I
symbol
forgot what I
of
was gonna
evil?
say. No, the
Oh, no.
Inquirer thing. So, back in the 70s and 80s, you'd always see the National Enquirer with like the headline Adolf Hitler found alive in South America or something like that. And it always seemed, because it was the National Enquirer. But what was it, Men in Black, that that used the National Enquirer as a communications device?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they got, yeah. So now I just wonder, because again, after everything that's happened in the past few years with regard to conspiracies at all, I wonder if, in fact, there wasn't some truth to that, which I know sounds crazy to think that, Men in Black may have used elements of reality, but I'm not ruling it out, which is really bizarre when you think about it.
It sure is. Sure is. Let's see here. I'm just trying to make sure that we are on Twitter right now, right? I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to find it so I can retweet this link so everyone can find us that maybe you're showing up late and for some reason.
I don't have to worry about that. I only have to
don't
worry
know if
about
we-
that on Midweek Malarkey and on Saturday Morning Live with
There
Jeff Fisher and myself.
Yeah, you and
I'm
Jeffy
the one
do a
that-
thing on Saturday mornings.
I'm the one that has to
Who
track
handles the
down all that
technology
stuff.
for that? What's that?
Not Jeffy.
Not Jeff.
Not
Well, I
Jeffy.
had trouble last night. I did a back patio chat, and boy, it was a disaster. It was
Is
one
back
nightmare
patio a
after-
metaphor for anything? Or
No, I was literally on the back patio. You know,
look,
one of the things I had
no
forgotten
judgment.
about this setup, because see, my normal microphone, it kind of died right before I left town. And so now I'm using this other microphone. You hear that? Tap, tap. And I'd forgotten how these headphones, like I can it's not you. Don't change anything. I can barely hear you, but boy, I sure can hear the air conditioner. I mean, we can't let a at the mic go by without me talking about the sound of the air whooshing in here. But anyway, and it's just
That's weird because
frustrating
I
as
can't
hell.
hear your air conditioner.
See, nobody can. It's so weird. Okay, so did Hitler, of all the Nazis, did Hitler end up in South America? Inquiring minds want to know, and I know that there are plenty of Nazi hunters and theories and all sorts of good stuff that talks about maybe he did. Now, I've got several different articles in front of me here. I'm going to try to sound coherent as I go through parts of these, but they discovered this article here is from 15 years ago. Wow, where does the time go? 2009. And it says a bone fragment believed to be part of Adolf Hitler's skull has been revealed as being that of an unidentified woman. Did you hear? I don't remember this from 15 years ago. But I was looking up something else in relation to this, and I found this article. So the section of bone marked with a bullet hole was used to support the theory that Hitler shot himself. Russian scientists said the skull piece was found alongside Hitler's jawbone and had put it on display in Moscow, but U.S. scientists said DNA tests revealed it belonged to a woman between the ages of 20 and 40. Well, I looked up Eva Braun, and she was 33 when she died. Interesting. So let's see. The piece of skull, let's see. Yeah, because why would you shoot yourself if you already took the cyanide pill, right? Anyway, okay, so it gets a little interesting here when I have for years loved this theory, and I went to refresh myself with my memory as I getting in for this show today. Years ago, I heard a story about a Catholic priest in Argentina who some believed was actually Adolf Hitler hiding out down there. And I mean, that's the last place you're going to look is the Catholic Church in the jungle in South America. Am I right?
Yeah.
If you're like, hey, how can I fly below the radar? So his name is Father Crespi. Okay. Father Crespi, an Argentine art collector and priest there. So here's how the story goes. Okay. World War II, it ended. a former Nazi intelligence officer, which, by the way, Father Crespi, this is where it gets a little hazy because in some accounts, Father Crespi lives till 1982. In other accounts, Father Crespi lives to 1992. But either way, if this is Hitler, he bought himself an extra 4 or 5 decades. Okay. So World War II ends. A former Nazi intelligence officer named Magda Zeitfeld had offered her services to the United States government. See, this goes back to Operation Paperclip, right? She had arranged her surrender to Colonel Kevin Stapleford, who was then one of the highest ranking members of the OSS. Let's see here. I'll skip a little bit of this and get to the good stuff. Okay, so she claimed that there were 4 men who, because remember, Hitler didn't give a public speech after 1943. And so there were all these thoughts that he had body doubles. She says that there were 4 body doubles of the same height and build as Hitler, and through the use of implants and various surgical procedures, had their facial features altered to look like Hitler. Now, these men were then instructed on movement as well as speech patterns. They mastered his distinctive walk as well as mannerisms, and they mastered his soft-spoken conversational speaking style. You have to work on that. He was more soft-spoken, Brad.
Okay. Yeah. 9?
No, 9. None
9?
taught to mimic his public speaking style and voice. Thus, these doubles, as I just mentioned, could only be used for private meetings and appearances where Hitler would not be expected to carry on much interaction with those in attendance. Didn't give a public speech after the fall of 1943. Another interesting fact is that 2 weeks after the 3 men left the clinic, the SS conducted a raid. This is reference to something earlier. During the raid, the entire staff, including Magda's father and her brother, were brutally killed. I promise it's water. And the clinic was burned to the ground, and all records were burned within the clinic. So any medical records or anything like that pertaining to what they did to these body doubles, all of it's gone. So it's known that during the last year of the war, Hitler's medical records were destroyed, and all the doctors who had seen him mysteriously vanished. The single exception was a young dental assistant who was called in to assist a dentist with cleaning Hitler's teeth 2 times. She was later captured by the Russian army and made to make a drawing of Hitler's teeth. This is how they identified him, so that the Russians could match the charred remains they found in the Berlin bunker with her drawing, since no authentic dental records could be found. Oh, this is accurate. This is spot on accuracy. After days of torture, she still had only a vague memory of the actual teeth of Hitler, but the Russians decided that was a match. It was a match. Stalin was never convinced, but could not allow the world to think that Hitler had escaped the Russian army. Okay, so now we fast forward. 1981, a retired U.S. colonel named Wendell Stevens made a trip to Ecuador. During his trip, he met a priest in a small town called, Cuenca. The priest was named Father Crespi, and Colonel Stevens was convinced he was, in fact, Adolf Hitler. He could not get I should probably put a picture of Father Crespi up. This would be a good place for that, Keith. Nice job. Finally remembered to do something. Look at that art collector. Who's that look like? Holy crap.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Looks like Johnny Appleseed.
4 years later. Okay, so he meets the priest. He thinks it's Hitler. He examined thousands of Hitler photos and was more and more convinced that he had found Hitler. He even described priceless artwork that Father Crespi had in his secluded home in the mountains of Ecuador. I think I said Argentina earlier. I'm sorry, Ecuador. But nobody would listen to his claims. So back to Magda, right? She also was convinced it was Hitler. He had the same features that she had helped her father sketch out all those years ago. She was convinced that a specific piece of art that the father had, she knew it was the same piece of art that had been a favorite of Hitler's. It hung behind him at his right chancellery office. There was no mistake. It was this. So anyway, it's just fascinating because it says that Crespi was given a position as a curator of art for the Vatican archives, a position far above his humble rank. His position made him responsible for cataloging a collection of art worth billions of dollars. He would also have been in position to receive priceless art collections similar to those that had been looted by the Nazis and somehow fell into the hands of the Vatican after the war. Crespi
This
spoke
is,
fluent. Huh?
I was going to say, did you said Wendell Stevens, right? At the beginning, it was Wendell
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stevens. Did you say he was Air Force?
Army.
Must
U.S.
be a
Army
different
Colonel.
Wendell Stevens, because there's a Wendell Stevens who I'm familiar with in UFO research, but he also in 1946, the Army Air. Well, did you say Army?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't, and maybe they classified these things differently back then, but in 1946, the Army Air Force assigned him to Wright Field as part of a technical review program of captured Nazi air
Okay.
technical
So
documents.
during,
It must be the same guy.
and somebody can correct me on this, but the Air Force came out of the Army. I'm pretty sure, because my grandfather, I know when he joined up, he later retired Air Force, but I know when he first signed up, maybe it was like
47.
the
Air Force was
Army
47.
glider program. Yeah, yeah. So check this out. You thought that photo was creepy of Father Crespi? Maybe he's Adolf Hitler. Look at that one. Oh, goof. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Hang on a second. Let me look on a different monitor because I've got
Oh,
something.
okay.
So wait a
So
minute. He's suggesting that is Hitler?
yeah, that's Father Crespi right there. That's Father Crespi. You're not seeing Hitler in that?
Not even if I squint.
Really?
You see it?
Yeah, I do. But look, maybe I want to believe, Brad. Maybe
Well,
it's just
but
that I want to believe. And I'm look, I am not anywhere near convinced that Father Crespi and
a
Adolf
different
Hitler are the same
nose.
person. But boy, there are some interesting facts that are related to Father Crespi that make you at least take pause. But you're not seeing. So did you see it in the other one though? The other picture? I wish I should have done side by side. What do you think?
That's
Is
I'm
it, so
looking
that looks
right
more like
now at
Hitler? That's the same guy, by the
the
way.
nose is all wrong.
Maybe I'm just
That's
focused on
more
the
of a
eyes.
hawk. He's got more of a hawk nose in Hitler.
Yeah, but didn't we
Now,
do some
again, it
plastic
could have
surgery
been
back then?
plastic surgery, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Do you want me to put that picture of Hitler up on the screen that you've got up?
Do I
Is
have
that
a picture of
anything?
Hitler up? Oh,
I don't know. I just see it down here at the bottom. So hold on. Let me finish a few
oh no,
more
that's
facts.
his talking voice. That's Hitler's
Oh,
talking
we get to
voice.
hear Hitler's talking voice? Okay, hold on. I'm going to play that here.
I
Hang on
can
a
find
second.
it.
So Crespi spoke fluent Italian with a perfect accent. Remember, this guy's in South America. Magda later pointed out the fact that Hitler's mother was from northern Italy and spoke Italian as her first language. Hitler himself learned Italian as his first language and spoke Italian almost always until he was 12 years old. Let's see. He would revert to Italian when he got angry. I didn't know that. Never used an interpreter when he met with Mussolini. Let's see. So Crespi is in Ecuador, a town that's known to Nazi hunters as a hideout of Martin Bormann and other high-level Nazis that had escaped Germany. Okay, so this particular article says in 1993, and this is what I'd always heard until this last week when I was reading more stuff. It said 1982, but this says, so I've heard 82, 92, and 93. 1993, Father Crespi died, reportedly at the age of 90. More than 2,000 people attended his funeral, which was marked with ceremony rivaling that of a king. He left behind millions of dollars worth of artwork, but again, the Catholic Church had been following it, according to this article. Magda and others later identified much of his artwork, as belonging to the private collection of Adolf Hitler. And also, there was a Jewish family once, I think, that was down there or something that had recognized this missing art from the World War II era. It's just all sorts of stuff. And I don't know how much of this is hearsay. A lot of this stuff is from the BBC, actually. I've got a BBC article here I'll get to. So in May of 1993, 2 cargo jets were loaded with Father Crespi's art collection and departed. And those artifacts were never seen again. What in the hell? So, oh, hold on. You had your speaking voice here. Hang on.
I had the speaking voice, but then I've got pictures that
But yeah, but
I don't know.
I'm with you, Joseph. Oh, he's still screaming.
It will also show him switching to his loud statesman voice, his stage persona. The second is Hitler in a semi-private conversation, where he is aware that he is being filmed, and the last a completely private conversation, where he is totally relaxed, himself, and chatty. The essential point was that the German public saw a strong leader, and strength was demonstrated through a loud, haranguing voice and strong body language. The normal Hitler was not for public consumption. More group.
Here's the semi.
Nur ein in Süddeutschland, in Baden wird diese Rhein-Tief-Ebene wird ebenfalls kultiviert.
Oh, it's nice to know he didn't always yell.
Right. That's not even, and then the example of him. Private speech.
This was recorded without his knowledge or permission.
Ein Staat mit 35.000 Tanks anreden kann. Wirklich gesagt, sie sind Wahnsinn. 35.000 Panzer. Wir haben zurzeit über 34.000 Panzer vernichtet.
That's wild.
Wenn mir das jemand gesagt hätte, ich hätte gesagt, wenn ein General von mir erklärt hätte, dass hier ein Staat 35.000 Panzer.
Boy, that is wild, man.
Because you're so used to hearing him, screaming that he just sounds like a normal guttural German.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and that. And hold on a second, because there are some pictures.
Okay.
This is from the Rio Times back in 2021, and they.
I was trying to do a side by side. Shoot.
That's one
I see
example.
What you're doing. Interesting.
That's one example. Apparently, though, the government, the intelligence, U.S. intelligence, thought that Hitler would try to disguise himself, which why wouldn't you?
To look like this.
To look like. See that I don't see it in him.
Yeah, hold on. Let me do this. I was just trying to see if Hitler was losing his hair. You know, he started having a receding hairline. No, because that guy.
No, but shoot. I mean that's him with different hair and a different stash.
And let me be clear though, it's not a good thing if Hitler got to live another half century undetected. It would be cool for the purposes of the story. But at the same time, you don't really.
No, but here's the thing. It's not about the fact that he would have been alive in 1980 or whatever. It's again, all of the things that we were taught without any basis for being taught that. In other words, if in fact the Russians and Stalin weren't even convinced that was him, and yet they were, terrified to say, well, he got away from us.
Right.
And they had to cover it up to cover their political ass. Then that's the lesson to be learned, is that those machines will lie to save themselves. And even to the point where Hitler could have been alive for another 40 years.
Right. See, and I don't want to get onto a 9/11 tangent, but my last show before I took the 2-week break, I had the Foundering in here, and we were talking about 9/11 and the truth behind that. And I think really the linchpin to really get the ball going for people is, boy, this is so smooth, Keith. See, you got the government official narrative, but then when you realize World Trade Center 7, when you realize that narrative isn't believable for a nanosecond, then that enables you to go, okay, wait a minute. How far does this go? Because the way we laid it out there was You got the government official narrative, World Trade Center 7. Then you got some people who's like, okay, well, the government knew that the attack would happen. Then you got people, the government, they're the ones that took down the building. And then we got to the direct energy weapon use, which I encourage you, if you haven't seen the show that we did on 9/11 a few weeks ago, please find it in the playlist at youtube.com/atthemic. But the point is, when you get to that stage where you go, okay, well, that's clearly the Russians lied. I mean, any decent documentary that talks about Hitler possibly escaping knows that the Russians did a very shoddy job of identifying that it was Adolf Hitler. And you
Right.
couple it with if you want to believe this story of the dental assistant, then you go, okay, well, when does it stop? Was it just the identification? Because now we can't believe that he necessarily died there. So now the next step is, did he escape? Well, if he escaped, where did he escape to? And if he escaped, how long did he live? So it may not be Father Crespi is Hitler, but he still could have possibly escaped because we don't believe the Russian story.
And going back to the Inquirer thread, which I didn't realize this either, but the Inquirer was the predecessor to talk shows, of course. And let's see, who was the publisher of hang on a second, former back in the 70s and 80s, the Inquirer apparently hired reporters who were like legit reporters.
Oh, really?
From the outset, Inquirer founder Janesco Pope hired a slew of crack investigative journalists with either Harvard Journalism School training or backgrounds in British tabloid reporting, which was historically much more tenacious than that of American counterparts. So if they were just really good now, the Inquirer it's been portrayed as a joke. I don't know whether that's, whether they intentionally gave themselves that image with the, what was it, the Bat Baby? Remember that one?
Oh, Bat Boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Bad Boy and all that. So
they were co-opted by the CIA at some point, I'm sure.
Who knows? Maybe. I mean, that's the thing about having grown up back in the dark ages in the 70s and the 80s, and you in the 80s, when did you grow up? Are you grown up? Are you an adult yet?
I will never grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
But when they taught us, I mean,
I was born in 76. So yeah, 80s, 90s, huh?
Yeah. So we had books. We had the books. We had libraries. Teacher would teach you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia.
And you go to you
right over
had
here.
to do a report. You go to the library and you get the encyclopedia and you'd sit down and you'd write stuff. And okay, Hitler says in the encyclopedia, it says Hitler died in Germany in 1940.
Yep.
Okay. And then you were taught that. All right. Hitler died because he killed himself and Eva Braun in the underground bunker. And that's what you grew up learning. Which is why
believe all this stuff,
right? Because you were trained at a young age to believe it, and now because of the information, and I've discovered this today, the information doubling curve. Remember, they used to say information would double every 10 years, and then it was every 2 years, whatever. Now we're down to information doubles every 12 hours.
Shut up!
So there's a lot of info out there.
What?
I know, it's crazy. And that's why you're also seeing these other things come to light with, I always talk about the ancient technology stuff and the pyramids, but you've got this new crop of youths out there who don't just have access to a book of a set of encyclopedias. They've got access
to not just that,
all the information.
Right. And it's also the fact that our government has been proven time and time again to be absolute liars about anything SOBs. Important.
Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Nothing is surprising anymore. Yes.
No, it isn't. And that's sad.
It is sad.
I mean, it's you have to rethink everything.
We've been burned so many times and we've been asked to believe so many things. and then made to look like fools. Like on the patio thing I talked about yesterday, about how I mean that's the biggest thing I got wrong was believing the government about Iraq. And
Me too.
all of the stuff that the Bush administration was saying, like I was one of the individuals, we'll say. No, I was one of the dumbasses that was like, yeah, I could see Saddam being a part of 9/11. Yeah. And it's like, man, gun to my head, I would believe more that our own government was 9/11 than Saddam Hussein. I mean, that is, boy, you talk about spiraling.
Another example. I mean, and it just happened. Remember, because within the past 2 months, we have been witness to an assassination attempt on our, presidential candidate, former president. And you know what they did to him? The suspect, Matthew Crooks, call him what you will, the shooter, the suspect, whatever he was. They cremated him, like, boom, gone.
They didn't know where the body was. Oh yeah, it's been cremated. Sorry, yeah. What was this? I swear.
So 30 years ago, the Oklahoma City bombing, Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah.
They find him guilty, lethal injection death.
Yep.
And then they immediately cremate the body. I'm not suggesting that the lethal injection was anything other than something that killed him, but there are drugs that will simulate death. And then once you burn him, ta-da!
Yeah, there we go. Because there's no exhuming that body,
No.
When it's cremated. But here is, gosh, I've got so many more questions on the Oklahoma bombing on my day job, Pat Gray Unleashed.
I know.
We had a great show on that, and my goodness,
it's insane.
Probably tweet that out in case anyone hasn't seen that.
None of these things surprise me anymore. Hitler could have, and Hitler would have only been, because he was born in 1889. So in the early 80s, he would have been, what, 90 something?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about something a little more happy than escaped Nazis? And that is possible super volcano eruptions.
Oh, we're all going to die. We're all going to die.
Look at this thing.
I know, right?
I mean, Wyoming, Montana, was nice knowing you. Idaho, you're never going to be the same.
That's the only other hope we have aside from the Martian attack.
Would you rather have a Martian attack or a super volcano? I'm going to go with super volcano because, I mean, we're not even in the secondary ash zone here in North Texas.
But you might as well be.
You'd be starved. I mean, would you rather die quickly or starve to death slowly over time?
Because nothing's going to work.
Right.
I would rather, because there's not going to be air conditioning in Texas after that, because the grid.
Yeah, but you won't need it. It'd be so cloudy.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Cloudy and dusty.
I mean, you won't be eating, but at least you won't be sweating either.
Right. That's a good question. Maybe. Well, so are the Martians mean?
Okay, take the Martians off the table. You have two options here. You're in Wyoming when this thing erupts, or you're in, Pennsylvania or wherever, So you're going to die slowly and have to live in the Northeast, or you're going to die instantly after enjoying your time in the Rocky Mountain. So what do you want to do? Die instantly from this thing, or let it slowly kill you?
But does Earth over the entire globe, is everything gone?
I don't know. I will say that we are going to be ripe for the taking by other nations that aren't directly associated with.
Yeah, but taking what? I mean, at that point, might as well go invade Iceland.
Right.
Because we don't have anything anymore.
That's true.
Certainly don't have the military super industrial complex that was. But and Nevada is, pretty much wiped off the face of the map. Do you know who owns the majority, by the way, of land in Nevada?
The U.S. government.
89%.
Yeah, there's a map that is fascinating. And you see from east to west, maybe you can find it, I don't know, but you can see where they get to the Midwest, and all of a sudden, the federal government in the progressive era goes, holy crap, we need to own all this. Too much private land back east. We need to own this. And so, unfortunately, the most okay, but hold on. I started the sentence unfortunately, but a lot of this, I will concede, fortunately, the government does own some of the more beautiful vistas. I don't want them taking it from private individuals, but a lot of that is preserved for us to enjoy. But it becomes a point where it becomes a point though when you're claiming this wetland or this all this tall grass or whatever. Shut up. Own the nice peaks that are really high. Maybe that. But if somebody else owned it first, you better give them a fair price. And I do not want eminent domain to be a part of that. I want it to be an agreement, not a theft.
But they will, and they'll thieve it because that's what they do. I'm kind of in agreement with Jesse Jones. Martians would be more fun, except maybe the probing.
I don't know.
I think probing. I don't think probing gets its fair due. Yeah. It depends on the probe. Doesn't it?
Yeah. How deep's the ash in a super volcano?
Let's see. The ash, because I lived through Mount St. Helens.
Where were you?
California, Southern California, and it got. I mean, you got clouds of like coverings of ash on your car and stuff. And let's see.
In Southern California, after an eruption in Washington State.
Yeah, we had the ash all the way down there. The main damage would come from. I
would have thought it would just been west to east, like the jet stream or something. I had no idea it went straight south.
It went around the world, didn't it?
Oh, and then it hit California on the backside?
I think it drifted down. when it.
I was in Atlanta. I don't remember much. I was also 4 years old, so.
Wait, hold on one second. When did this thing erupt? Because I was in
1980.
I was in 10th grade. You were 4?
Just barely turned.
It's things like that remind me, damn, I'm old. How did I get here? Because I was in 10th grade at that point. It's the reason Yellowstone remote possibility catastrophic super river blah 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 100 kilometers. It's okay. Here it is. In the reason Yellowstone gets so much attention, remote possibility of the catastrophic super eruptions. How do they know it's remote?
Yeah, that's another thing. Another thing you can't trust the government on. They get so much stuff wrong and they screw so much stuff up that you can't.
They have no idea. They have no idea. It could erupt tomorrow.
I was actually at Yellowstone when they had a measurable earthquake a few years back. It was in the middle of the night. Now, everybody I was with, I'm the lightest sleeper in the world, but there were people that I was with that woke up, and I did not, which is very strange.
DM was just through there. Dave from American
APR
Pride Roasters. Yeah. And he sent pictures of what's the basin called?
The Great Basin.
It's not the bathtub basin. What is it called? Where they just had the explosion. It's the Biscuit Basin.
Biscuit
Basin. And it's still closed, by the way. But they don't know. I mean, this thing could erupt tomorrow. It might never erupt. A super volcano, by the way, the super eruption would be at least 1,000 cubic kilometers of material gets ejected. That would be the super eruption. That would be enough to bury Texas 5 feet deep. Yeah.
So that's if Texas were superimposed up there?
Yes.
Okay. So you remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, the world was supposed to end from a massive earthquake along the Mississippi River. Remember that one?
The New Madrid Fault.
Happened either. That was the end of the world guy, some Doomsday Preacher.
Yeah, but when the last time the New Madrid Fault did break loose, it rang the church bells in Boston and made the Mississippi run backwards and created Reelfoot Lake.
Where's Reelfoot Lake?
Next to the Mississippi.
What state?
Is it Tennessee? Yeah.
How deep is it?
How deep is your love? And Reelfoot, the funny thing is, well, it's not funny. It's Reelfoot Lake. So basically it's a mud puddle. Yeah, it's in Tennessee. It's a natural lake, and it's drying up because, again, it
needs another earthquake.
It was created by, the Mississippi running backwards. So it's a mud puddle that's drying up, and they're like, we got to save Reelfoot Lake.
Do you have some artist rendering or some interesting videos that maybe you could share with the class? Could we
of Reelfoot Lake? Stand by.
No, not Reelfoot Lake. Of your volcano action and what it would be like.
I do. It's funny you should mention that because
it's almost like I knew ahead of time that you had something for us.
And a shout out to yes.
Hold on. I should have put this on the screen. Hang on, you got to see. I got to hold on. Let me put this back up before we do your thing here. I love this. Just so y'all know, this map is for illustrative purposes only. If the super volcano erupts, the exact zones will depend on when, time of year, and other factors. So you can't quite take this to the bank. I don't want you coming back later screaming at me, Illinois, saying, I was in Chicago. You said I was safe. Damn you.
That's the beauty of it. The court system won't exist after that happens. So
yes,
go ahead.
So now I'm kind of leaning towards this super volcano happening because then I don't like the way things are. Okay, so this is what it would be like. And
this is a dude on YouTube who does these game simulations, and it's this is like 8 years old, or 4 years old, and it's the simulation of what it would be like if Yellowstone erupted. The first thing I thought this was 2012. Remember the
movie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. Is that any good?
It's old now. I mean, it's all right. It's John, what's his name? Or
Mel Gibson?
No, Joan.
Oh.
Joan and John. What
am I thinking of?
Brother.
Mel Gibson?
No, not Mel Gibson. What the hell is his name?
But what did he do that was like end of the world-ish? How fast is that car driving? No, not Signs.
Who, Mel Gibson?
Somebody will know in the chat. It ends with an O. It's like end of the world Ismo or something. Apocalypso, I think, is what it is. I haven't seen that one.
Didn't do a movie called Apocalypso, did he?
Yeah, something like that. Somebody back me up while we wait for this.
I've never heard of Apocalypso.
Apocalypto or something. Somebody knows. And I'm not Googling Jack Craft.
The Motels had a great song. I think it was called Dance Apocalypso.
How fast is this guy driving?
Not fast enough because I think he's gonna explode. Is that loud? I can't tell.
No, this is good. Again.
Oh, good.
Remember though, I can't hear. This is the
that's right. You can't
in the history of live streaming.
So
Apocalypto. Thank you, Jesse. See, Jesse got my back, yo. Go, John.
That's a Mel Gibson movie.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see this car blow up.
I don't think
it's coming. Oh, this is like the what was the other movie that
Go. Come on, man. Go.
He ain't gonna make it. There's no way. He's got 10 seconds to get out of there.
10 seconds.
And here it comes. Look, here it comes, and boom.
Oh,
he's gone. He's dead.
No, it's Dusty. Hold on, let it play. Let's see. Dusty. See, he made it. It's fine.
No.
He's fine.
He's dead.
Did you have another one?
He's dead.
Okay, but was there another video or no? Am I wrong?
Oh no, you're right. This is the this is Biscuit Basin.
I saw the Montgomery Biscuits minor league team. Hey, somebody in Montgomery, Alabama. How did the Montgomery Biscuits get their nickname? I'd like to know. I saw them play against the Biloxi Shuckers last week. I'm sorry, this guy's talking, isn't he?
No, I'm not. I've got it down, so I don't know.
Good. Okay, it's not just me because I.
No, this is And there were people. That's the thing about this. Remember the people that were standing like on the sidewalk
Yes.
or on the little trail?
Yes,
I
on the
think
little
I think those are
thing.
people
Wooden-
over there, and they're like, oh yeah, those are people there. They look like tiny little ants, and they're all standing there with their phones going, looking up. It's like you realize if that stuff comes down on your head, it'll kill you, right?
Yeah, but think of the clicks if I can get this uploaded before that debris lands on me.
People
Hey,
just think all this stuff is Disney, and it's
right,
not.
right. And that goes back to your earlier point of the experts, the officials know nothing. They don't know. I mean, they open up these areas of the park. You have no idea what nature's going to do at any moment.
But you should accept that when you go in. You should know that if you're going to go up and stare at Old Faithful, like these dumbasses that go in there and get off the trail and walk on the soft, crusty stuff that is like this thick, and then they slip into it and they burn their leg. I'm going to sue. No, no, you take a picture of that and you put that up on the warning sign next to the trail and you say, this is Bob. This is Bob's leg after Bob was a dumbass and wandered off the trail. Don't do this or you're going to get a burned ass leg too. Same thing with the bisons.
Wait, what's burned? Your ass or your leg? No,
both.
Yeah,
because if you fall in,
nature is unpredictable, man. Okay, yes. Here's a follow-up question, if I may. Why are people so dumb, Brad? Why do we feel so invincible?
That's the Disneyfication of everything. It feels like a thrill ride, but you're not going to get hurt on a thrill ride because safety. And so when people go into or even the immersive video games, let's blame video games.
Again, Brad, why are people so dumb? He asks as he checks the temperature of his ceiling back here above the candle.
Oh yeah. By the way, your room's on fire.
Hold on a second. I got an article here. Go ahead.
Because people weren't taught to critically think.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all
either that
spoon-fed the stupid stuff and then weren't taught to critically think.
But for me, I have injured myself badly so many times that, believe it or not,
that's because you're clumsy.
I'm walking on air. Believe it or not, my brain is now doesn't trust me. It's like I don't take the chances that I once did.
Right.
Let's see here. This article is.
Plus, when you get old, you realize things hurt.
No kidding. Ugh. Like me just standing up from this chair in 2 hours after we start. It's gonna suck.
Yes.
No.
Yes. It's not pretty watching me walk the first 10 feet after sitting down.
Are you capable? Because I am not. At 48, I'm not capable of getting out of a chair without announcing it to the world. Like,
nope. I was thinking about that the other day. Oh, look at by the way, there's the sidewalk that people were standing on.
Holy crap, that could have ended so badly.
I mean, there were people standing there.
But how long was it rumbling before it just happened? Because I walked out on those when I went to Yellowstone, but if it started rumbling, I would have been standing there like a doofus recording it. Not a chance in hell.
Well, but here's the thing. Every people stand around Old Faithful and wait for it to do this. And those aren't, isn't Old Faithful the same thing, basically?
Yeah,
I mean, it may not be classified as a thermal explosion like this was, but it's certainly, how the hell do they know when that thing's going to go
Hang on a second. Let me clean up some things here. Jesse. Okay. So Brad, you need to come over here and let's watch Apocalypto real soon. Okay. All right. So,
okay.
I'm going to remind you that's for you to remember now.
Also,
that's a fact. We don't teach critical thinking anymore.
No.
And that's the thing, is that now we have been such a dumb society for so long that there's very few people teaching that are capable of teaching critical thinking anymore. So that ship has sailed. Also, Joshua, we need to talk about that. They got it from a contest? Hold on. So the Montgomery biscuits are named after a contest? Because I need to know, because you're from, Montgomery, all right, Titletown, Tuscaloosa, all right. So I'm just curious, the Montgomery biscuits, I forgot to Google that. And again, I told you I'm tired / lazy today, and I'm just not gonna be googling much. So I am just curious how the Montgomery Biscuits got their minor league name. And then yes, you have to have a healthy respect and a fear of the power of nature. Otherwise, don't go out and try to enjoy it. Okay, so let me just read this. What's going to happen? Like the headline is. Here's the headline. You ready? Find out what happens if Wyoming's super volcano blows. Okay, so it says the warnings could come from interesting places like outer space. Satellites may be able to see ground deformations. Seismographs will detect steadily growing earthquakes, and the ground may leak with steam or gases in some areas. If the pressure underground becomes too great, massive explosions will begin, and a vast amount of volcanic material will shoot into the air. The velocity of the explosion could be so high that it could reach the stratosphere, spreading the volcanic material to areas across the country. As we all know, what goes up must come down. As the volcanic material starts to cool, large rocks like volcanic bombs would fall to Earth. Oh, that's going to suck. Ash could enter the air and cause parts of the country to become toxic and inhabitable. Good Lord, I promise it's water.
Uninhabitable.
No, that's not how it's written. It's stupid. This was written by a third grader. Communications.
Nobody proofreads. That's the other problem with life now. No one proofreads anymore.
And AI thinks it's so damn smart, yet it ain't.
It's smarter than
communications
some people.
and air travel could be affected. Oh, do you think with bombs up in the sky, you think there's going to be a problem flying? The volcanic ash could spread over roads, buildings, and land, damaging cars, buildings, and farmland, and destroying, page 2, thousands of acres of crops. This goes on to talk about this could likely end up being the loudest sounds ever recorded and able to be heard thousands of miles away. The energy created from the blast could send pressure waves at the speed of sound worldwide multiple times, causing extreme changes in weather patterns. It's estimated that hundreds of thousands of people would die on the day of the blast, and hundreds of thousands in the days after. The explosion would also change the climate worldwide for years to come. Yeah, and then we can stop hearing.
But the price of real estate goes down significantly.
Okay, so let's think of the positives. Price of real estate goes down. That's a good one.
Yep.
I like that one.
Far less
maybe
inner
people
city
will
crowding.
Stop bitching about climate change because they'll be like, "Hey, it was a volcano.
It's
I
here.
couldn't help it." You know?
Right.
So,
how long does it cause a giant shadow over the entire planet?
Boy, I don't know. Do you remember when Mount was it Pinatubo? What was the one? No, what was the one? Somebody else can Google. Too tired. Back in the Philippines, back when I was about 12 or 13, and it was a very cold winter for everyone. And that was like an August explosion. And then in Atlanta that winter we had a lot of snow.
November day. Thought I just set the scene.
Am I right, though? Now, see, I am going to Google that. And honestly, the reason I didn't want to Google is I had all these papers stacked up on the keyboard. Let's see. Mount, was it Pinatubo?
I know the name, but I don't.
Yeah, Philippines, 1991. Okay. June 15th, 1991. But yet that winter, 8 months later, where we're getting all the cold winter weather.
But that's silly because that's a stratovolcano.
Huh.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
It's in Manila, right?
Yeah, Philippines. I don't know if it's how close it is to Manila. Can we talk about before we get to your next?
Where they make the folders.
Yep, that's where they do. That's where they make them. That's where they make them.
I used to think they were vanilla folders, but
do you? Me too. Everybody did, if they're being honest with you, right?
Proof again.
I've told the story before. I used to think it was the weatherman was talking about the windshield factor. So I remember going outside when it was really cold, put my hand on the car windshield, and my mom said, "What are you doing? I want to see what the windshield temperature is." That's wind chill. Get back inside, dummy.
When I was in
Okay.
fifth grade, hold on a second. When I was in fifth grade, we moved from Boron, California to Lancaster, California, and they needed to figure out, I don't know, I guess where I was on the learning curve or whatever. So
Oh no.
they told me they were going to have to give me makeup tests.
Oh no. No,
And
dude, no.
And I was like, why do I have to wear makeup? I honestly thought that's what they were talking about. I'm telling you, I
You
am
were
not
dumb.
nearly as smart as I used to think I was.
No, right.
Not
Right.
even
I think
close.
no.
Makeup
So
test.
someone else that doesn't strike me as smart is
Uh,
Tim Walz.
uh,
We got ourselves a
oh,
Manchurian candidate
oh,
for reals
tip on
this
Tim.
time. Hmm.
Here's the thing. I swear, we are. We're the
We've
one
already
of the
established how
political
dumb of a society we are.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is we are in a political race right now where one of the candidates has had an attempted assassination, likely had an election stolen from them, has been drugged through the mud, has had his character impugned, has
Might be
been
thrown in jail in
might
10
be thrown
days
in
or so.
jail, has been accused and found guilty of 34 felonies that no one knows what the hell they are. And the
We
other
laugh, but
candidate
it's
the other
serious, man.
candidate, well, no, but I'm saying the other candidate is somebody that no one voted for.
No one
Nobody.
voted for.
Zero.
No, and in fact, just yesterday morning, I retweeted a tweet that says it all. Brad, let me scroll down here. Here was the tweet from. I want to give credit to this guy. He said his name is. Come on now, I tweet too much. Gentry Jeevers. Unless you voted for Kamala Harris in the primary, please refrain from calling Trump a threat to democracy. It makes you look super dumb. No kidding, because nobody voted for that candidate, yet she has the nomination. This nation is
I know.
foolhardy.
It's the most
Okay.
bizarre.
So Tim Walz, governor
Mhm.
of Minnesota, vice presidential nominee. Let's hope that's where the train ride ends for him. He's been to China, what, I don't know, 3 times now, something like that. Almost that.
He really likes China.
He, of course, nothing wrong with that, right? So it's a lovely country, I hear. So
Especially
one
this
of
time
the
of year.
students who went with him on these trips, one of these trips, said that he is Maoist to the core. And by the way, the Tiananmen Square massacre, as everyone knows, is his wedding anniversary as well. He wanted a date that he could remember. Holy crap! I mean, I
Really?
hate this guy. Yeah. All right. So
Surely they
let's
had
see.
that plan before surely.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, sir. On June 4th, 1994. Okay, when did Tiananmen Square happen? 89, somewhere in there, right? Waltz married Gwen Whipple on the fifth anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Gwen is the source for this, by the way. Gwen told a local newspaper that Waltz, quote, wanted to have a date he'll always remember, end quote. That appeared in the Wall Street Journal newspaper. Let me see here.
All
What
right.
else we got on this cat? Man, he is. Oof.
He likes tampons in boys' bathrooms.
So a man who says he joined Tim Walz, this is from Alpha News, who's done great reporting. I'm so happy for Alpha News, but I'm also frustrated for them because they have been sounding the alarm bells on Tim Walz forever up in Minnesota, and only recently have people noticed, myself included, obviously. So a man who says he joined Tim Walz on a trip to communist China is speaking out about his experience of traveling to the country with the future vice presidential candidate. Quote, it was almost a daily revelation of how much he adores the communist regime. called him Maoist to the core, as I said earlier. So the former student says he joined Walls on a 1995 trip to China. Let's see here. He said, please don't use my last name for this article. Yeah, for several weeks, Walls and his group students explored China together in the summer of '95. They saw Tiananmen Square, walked along the Great Wall of China, and traversed the country. However, the former student says he was struck by Walls' adoration for China and its communist ideology. There's no doubt he's a true believer. I've been trying to tell people this for 30 years, and nobody wanted to listen. At night, we'd go out, we'd walk the street fairs, we'd be buying souvenirs, and Tim was always buying the little red book. He said he gave them as gifts. I saw him buy at least a dozen on the trip. Dear Lord, what is happening?
Wow.
Let's see here.
Well, that's just hearsay. That's just hearsay. We don't know that student is really telling the truth. But if we go by the other side's, was it the suckers and losers? The one dude that heard Trump, right?
2 dozen
so
times.
Yeah. So
and by people that don't like Donald Trump have debunked that.
Right. So
John
but by that
Trump
measure, this kid's right.
Right. I mean, Congressman Jim Banks of Indiana says he's an obvious security risk.
So's Kathy Hochul.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
You saw the Chinese infiltrate. So was Dianne Feinstein. God rest her soul.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is it that they have with now? Here's but here's the thing: we all buy our unnecessary plastic objects. Let me just I'm going to turn over my Trump Mr. Predicto 8-ball, which who sent me this? I can't remember, but I still love you for doing it.
I think it's certainly possible. I think it's probably unlikely.
And I'll bet you this was.
Oh, okay. So hold on. Can I ask the Trump Predicto ball question about Tim Walls? And see what
Yep.
I mean, this is obviously unscripted, ladies and gentlemen. This could bomb or it could be the greatest thing ever. So there's an old article from 1994 of Tim Walls, honeymoon in China. So great Predicto Trump ball. Is Tim Walls a Manchurian candidate?
Let's see. I think I have to pick it up and set it down. All right. You're gonna have to ask him. Hang on a second.
Is Tim Walls a Manchurian candidate? Predicto ball.
Don't worry about it.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm all right. If Trump doesn't
Forget all of that.
Wow. Okay. A little too defensive, I think.
It could be anything.
I want to show you this. This is a picture of Tim Walls with a fan and a big picture from China that he's really proud of. It says gifts from China. It says Tim Walls holds a fan that was one of the gifts he received while spending about 10 months this past year teaching school in China. The watercolor of the apartment complex where he lived was another gift. The fan, incidentally, contains a poem written by the widow of Sun Yat-sen, one of the founders of the New China in 1911. Walls said he received so many gifts during his visit that he was unable to bring them all home. Tim Walls, ladies and gentlemen.
To his little China girl?
Not a Maoist. Whatsoever, not a
little China girl.
So let me play this for you. Here's a clip of Tim Walls more recently talking about China. Now listen carefully, especially at the beginning of this. Hang on.
As I said, I've been there about 30 times, but if someone tells you they're an expert on China, they're probably not telling you the truth because it's a complex country. But it's critically important for us. I don't fall into the category that China necessarily needs to be an adversarial relationship. I totally disagree.
Okay. Yeah. You don't want
But here's the weird thing about China right now. We're told that they are, and they're a bunch of commie bastards. I get it. But we buy all kinds of crap from them. We buy drugs from them. We buy cars from them. We buy stuff out the wazoo from China.
No, I'm glad you brought this up because this is a thought that has crossed my mind many times. When you buy drugs on I hear people buy drugs online. I've heard
I've
of
heard
this.
that happens.
And then it'll say country of origin. It'll say like India or someplace over there, and you'll be like, "Hey," but you just said
Right.
it. We openly buy drugs from China. Who
Yes.
wants to harm us? It's
Right.
not
And
India.
that's it. We're gonna buy drugs from a country
But
that
you
we
have to
think
buy drugs on the black market from India. But yet we get all this stuff from China and it's just out there. And no one seems to have a problem with that.
it's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. Chinese, bunch of commie bastards. But by the way, can we buy another 2 truckloads of that stuff over there? Because we sure would like to have that.
There are people in sane parts of the world, if any are still around, that say, boy, them Americans, commie bastards. And they're not wrong. At least right now.
Exactly. None of this
Okay.
stuff makes any sense anymore.
No, it's heartbreaking because you try to
Mhm.
make sense of it. You don't waste your time. Don't stress yourself out. But it's so difficult to explain any of this to your kids and with a straight face tell them that you live in a free country because that ship is long sailed. If there are any questions that in the last few years have put to rest, that
Tech Roo says, I'm downwind. I'll let you know about Old Faithful.
Oh, yeah. Be sure to go ahead and tell you what. Why don't you draft the tweet? That way, if you're pressed for time, you can just hit send because you may not have time to type it all out. What's happening? So, do we want to talk about some ancient civilizations?
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Oh no!
Remember that one?
Yeah, I'm barely that.
That was great. I mean, what happened to the good old commercials? That was
when did that run?
What was that? Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
What? Hold on. What product was that?
It was a Chinese laundry, and the people come
1982.
But that's not wrong. I mean, they have Chinese. There are Chinese laundries. Just like go into a donut shop.
You're not allowed to point out things that are
right.
true.
Exactly. Go into any donut shop in Texas, and guess what you'll find? An Asian owner.
There you go.
How do you get shirts so clean, Mr. Lee?
Ancient Chinese secret.
My hot shot. Here's his ancient Chinese secret. Calgon. Calgon's 2 water softeners soften wash water so detergents clean better. In hardest water, Calgon helps detergents get laundry up to 30% cleaner.
Hard water.
We need more Calgon. Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Calgon helps detergents get laundry up to
30%
cleaner.
Hold on. I got
lying Chinese bastard. You're probably a communist too. That's
I'm
is
sorry.
that a biological woman?
I'm trying to figure something out here. I've been to a dry cleaner hundreds of times in my life. What's going on here? Like it's in a paper bag. I've never seen that.
No, it's a laundry. It's not a dry cleaner necessarily. They probably did laundry and dry cleaning, and they would fold your clothes and put them in a package like that, wrap it up in paper so you didn't get it dirty.
I want to see what his face looks like when he's busted.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Calgon helps detergents get laundry.
He's like a lying Chinese bastard.
Wait, hold on. Who is it? Take me away. I thought that was Calgon.
That's Calgon too. I mean, they make
They're
different
both
kinds of stuff.
Calgon?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever.
That was back in the day when there were only like 20 corporations that owned the world. Now we're down to like 3.
Oh gosh, I'm not going into the bathtub here.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Yeah. All right. So, did we want to? We have such ADD. Tell you what. Did you want to talk to us about some? Because I know you've really been studying this stuff lately. Now, I don't know if your information is the same as my World Book Encyclopedia shelf over here. That I have no idea why I've kept this.
Grab it. Do you have the one? I guess it'd be what Egyptian period. You have what?
1988. That's
the
set.
Like the one on the pyramids.
Okay, I'll look. Should I just grab the E or the P? Maybe
That's
I'll
a
grab
good
them
question. Grab your P
Right.
and the E.
both. Listen carefully as I stand up. Oh, oh.
And
It's dark over here.
right.
All right, there's E and there's P.
Nice.
Grab them both.
So did you grab? You took a P?
Hold on.
Hold on. I had a rim shot, but I don't think you can hear it.
No, I
Let's
didn't hear
see.
you. I'm sorry.
No, you couldn't hear it because I don't know. It's wired to some other stupid thing in here, and I have no idea.
All right, so here's
But
the E's.
yes,
Let me.
I'm just curious what this encyclopedia says about the pyramids from 1988.
Okay. Let's see here.
It's probably under G for Giza pyramid.
Oh hell no! I ain't getting up again, man.
Maybe
So
Egyptian.
Egypt. Can you believe this? I am flipping through. Okay, there's
Pyra-
one picture of pyramids.
Pyramids with a Y too. It's not with an I.
Okay. Do you know that Egypt has about 6 million acres of farmland? Almost all of it along the Nile. And now you do.
That's hard to deny.
Oh gosh. Oh, here's ancient Egypt. So right after Egypt, it then transitions to ancient Egypt. I'm guessing
that's the old
we'll have
stuff.
more.
You don't want that
there.
old stuff. You want the fresh, new Egypt stuff. I'm curious.
Secret, eh?
Because we were all taught again, and I've said this before.
Yep,
we were all taught pyramid.
Here we go. Yeah.
All right.
Gigantic pyramids built as tombs for Egyptian rulers were used to hide the rulers' mummies and protect their souls.
Nope.
Some pyramids are about 4,500 years old. Let me just check my P first
because they weren't.
We continue. Here, hang on.
They've never found a mummy in a pyramid.
Yeah. Really? Is that right?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What about King Tut? No,
he was not in a pyramid.
TUV. How do you spell Puerto Rico? WXYNZ. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I think this is what you want. I don't want to be presumptuous about it. I think this is what you want. This is an artist rendering of the pyramids being built. Look at those slaves with those big rocks and right. Is that where you're going?
Well, that too,
right,
but
okay.
the whole thing. Number one, with the description of the pyramids being for kings. No, they weren't. And number two, how were they built?
How were they built?
Bunch of loincloth dudes wearing with ropes, right?
Right, with ropes. And it says it's a great engineering feat, Brad Staggs, requiring thousands of workers. You ready? First, workers cut and shape huge limestone blocks. Then gangs of workers dragged the blocks to the pyramid site on sledges and pulled them up ramps on the pyramid. Planks on the ramps lessened the friction of the sledges. More than 2 million blocks were used in building the Great Pyramid at Giza. Brad Staggs, take it away.
It doesn't say. Somebody did the math on that at 2.5 million blocks over 20 years, because that's the other mainstream estimate of how long it took to build the pyramid.
Yep.
That would mean you were laying a new rock in place like I think it's 2 minutes.
That is insanity.
I know.
No one's that dedicated.
No. And they weren't slaves either. Apparently, the people that the new research now is that these people were supposedly all happy to be working. And I don't know how many people it took to work on it. I don't know exactly how they built it. I know it wasn't a bunch of dudes running around in loincloths pulling rocks that weighed 80 tons.
That were happy they were doing it too.
Right. It's just something ain't right. And you have this whole new generation again of these kids like Jimmy Corsetti he's on YouTube, he's on Rumble, and he is sharp. and he's been doing a lot of investigation into sites like the pyramids, Göbekli Tepe, which is a stone's throw away from Mount Ararat in Turkey, and could be one of the oldest sites, one of the oldest human-built sites on planet Earth, to the tune of like 27,000 years ago. And the government of Turkey has decided that they are not going to continue to excavate any more of Göbekli Tepe, even though only 5% of it has been excavated, because they are going to focus their efforts on conservation and tourism. And they've planted trees over the other areas of the Göbekli Tepe ruins, which will likely damage the ruins. And they say that they likely won't get to excavating any more of it for another 100 years. Now, if this is in fact, that's what everybody would like to know. Part of the reason is, and part of who has control over the site now, which is mind-boggling, because they have turned over control and excavation or maintenance of the site of Göbekli Tepe to essentially the World Economic Forum. Which I know you can't make this. And that's another excellent question.
The happy slaves.
The happy slaves, and there is evidence now about the Sphinx, and the fact that it could be much older than the maybe it wasn't built at the same time. There is actually no evidence that has been shown that says the Egyptians did build the pyramids. I mean, all the drawings, those are just artist conceptions. There's never been evidence found. There's been a theory that there is a room or some chamber underneath the Sphinx's paws, but the people in charge of, I think he's called the Minister of Antiquities in Egypt, he is a dude that if you don't agree with him or the narrative that the pyramids and the Sphinx were built 4,500 years ago by the Egyptians, not only are you're not allowed to investigate there. They've actually kicked out archaeologists, but you are in some cases not allowed to come back to the country. And
what's that all about?
It's the craziest thing when you start looking into it. And there is an obelisk that is in, is it Aswan? I think it's Aswan Quarry. Hang on a second, because when you see this thing, yeah, there it is. Hang on, I'll show you the image of it because it is insane.
Can you tell me when to put it on the screen here?
And
hold on,
I found the small one. Let me find the big one for you. Aha.
Okay.
And here it comes. Not that one. That's the little one. We want the big one. And ta-da. So this is the
zoom in
obelisk
on that,
at Aswan Quarry or Aswan Quarry. So you can see by the people walking across it that I think it's 100 feet tall, long.
Okay.
And
it's on its side.
It's on its side. This is how I guess they carved them. Now, do you see all the striations in the rock next, like even on the obelisk right there? Can you see?
Yep.
All right. When you go there to see this, you're required to sit through an orientation video when they explain, okay, here's how this thing was made. And it's they show a bunch of Egyptian slaves, people, whatever, holding these little melon-sized rocks. It's called dolomite.
Okay.
And it shows them hitting the other rocks. That's how they got this shape. It's just and so it shows them, hitting them perfectly up and down so that they get those striations on the rock. I don't know about you, but when I see those striations, that looks a lot like some sort of a standardized tool, maybe a front end or a backhoe or a
laser,
powered chisel, or it could be a laser. I mean, it could be any number of things. What it isn't is a bunch of people hitting it with
right.
round rocks.
And that's what they want us to believe. And where? I don't know. Where is this again? Remind me.
This is in Egypt. This is the Aswan quarry where
Okay, so this
some
is
of
in
the
Egypt
blocks
still.
for the pyramids
Okay.
came from.
Okay, gotcha. Because there's also some I don't know what it's called, but somewhere in South America, there's all those rocks that are all just fit together perfectly.
That's Pumapunku. And here's the thing about Pumapunku.
And the distance between the rocks is so narrow and perfect.
That's the same way with the pyramids.
Right.
Same thing with the pyramids. You can't even fit like a credit card or a sheet of paper in between them. Here is this is Pumapunku. These are some of the those are some of the pictures of the what they're called H blocks in this area.
Yeah, that's not even what I'm talking about. You see those smaller ones down at the bottom?
Yeah.
There's a section where it's just hundreds of those, I think, or dozens of those. And it's insane how they didn't have the modern tools, yet the craftsmanship is better than anything today.
This one will blow you
too, as far as we know.
This is a method of locking the rocks together. It's they give basically like key slots that they drill across them, and those would have been filled up with bronze or some sort of a molten metal. The only problem is at the elevation that these stones sit, ancient people would not have been able to reach the temperatures over a campfire necessary to liquefy the metal.
I love that.
It's everywhere, and the same building techniques have been used in South America, in Japan, in China, in Egypt, which remember and they say 5,000 years ago, which we shouldn't have been able. Let's see, when were we? Yeah, that would have been the hunter-gatherer thing. So during the day, we're out hunting and gathering, and at night they're making these incredible stone structures.
Right, that's another thing. Is
so well put together.
Right, they every minute of every day was devoted to survival. We're not just hanging around like, man, we sure are bored. You guys want to fine precision cut some stones and build something really? I don't know.
If you want to really get your mind blown, go to
of course.
Here we go. Right there. Go to the Barabar Caves. They are in India, and these are caves that were hollowed out of giant boulders.
Can you zoom in on that?
Hollowed out of giant boulders. This is one of the caves, and like this was supposedly done with copper chisels, and they've measured. I mean, all the lines and the curves are almost perfect. There's just
and what is the official narrative on that?
Do what?
What's the official narrative on that?
They don't really know. They don't really know. Okay. I mean, some of these walls are polished to the point there are these little micrometers almost that will measure the fineness of a surface. It has a little needle, for lack of a better term. It goes out, it'll measure the surface to see how smooth it is. The walls in these caves, I think at least one of these caves is, I think, smoother than glass. And how how the hell did they do that back in the day? Let me see if I can show you the outside of the cave. Yeah, here's this one will blow you away, because this is the outside of the cave that you're looking at right now. There's the outside. It's a huge rock how the hell did they and then make these doorways that are like perfect? It just doesn't make any sense that
That is so wild.
A bunch of savages running around were able to do something like this.
In their time when they weren't trying to survive.
Right.
I
yeah.
mean,
Here's a dude. It's crazy. And the beauty of, and here's a better picture of a dude sitting inside one of those. See how the back wall is shining?
Yes.
I mean, that's
wild.
So here's the thing about the ancient technology. It's not all that hard to imagine, number one. And number two, well, where is it all? Where, if they had big metal, if they had machines, where are they? They would have been long. If this was 1,000,000 years ago or 30,000 years ago, they would have long ago rusted away. Because if you take our civilization right now and everybody goes away and stops taking care of stuff, everything that we have built here in 20,000 years, you wouldn't find any evidence of it. It'd all be gone. Metal would rust away. Our houses made of, wood and crap like that would dissolve over that period of time. So it's not that hard to believe that they would have had technology like this. The problem with it is that it disrupts the narrative of everything we've ever been taught.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. And it throws origins into question.
So, yeah, that's the thing. How far back do you want to go? Unravel this thing. And if these were created by someone other than us, did they take their tools home with them?
Right. The pyramids. My favorite theory is the Nephilim. There were giants in the Bible. What if you had?
Yeah, that's got to be a topic.
Significantly tall enough people that they could reach over and pick up a 80-ton block and go, where do you want this one? How about right there? Then you could build a pyramid, putting a block in place every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's not that hard. And why is it so? I mean, again, it's because people don't want to believe. Look what we don't want to believe now. We don't want to believe that our government would try to kill somebody.
Right.
We don't want to believe any of that. So, you can hide stuff in plain sight. People don't want to believe it because it F's with your whole sense of normalcy.
Sure does.
But once you open your mind to it, it ain't that hard to. It's not that hard to imagine and to believe that it could be legit. That's the wild thing, and all these young kids doing that.
And that's a good segue to a conversation that we've had on this show before, and that's about MH370.
Right.
And Ashton Forbes with the incredible theory and the videos that show the orbs. If you haven't seen that, that's here at youtube.com/@themic. Some very fascinating discussions there on how that plane disappeared and the evidence that he has put forth. So ever since he started getting traction and more exposure and national attention, boy, have the theories been coming out in the last, so let's see, late last year. So almost in the last year, we have all these things. Oh, I found it on this satellite image. Oh, I found it here. Well, the latest theory that came out, just last week. Here's the headline from the Daily Mail: has the mystery of MH370 plane crash finally been solved? Oh my gosh! Look at this. Hold on, I got to show you this because you talked about how typos. Hold on.
And the worst part is what they say about the pilot again.
Look at this. Yeah, I'm about to tell you that. But I got to share you this headline here. I don't have it open on the screen here. Can you read this? Has the mystery of MH370 plane crash be solved? Be solved. You've got it on your screen. Look at that. Zoom. Crash finally be solved. Been solved? That's in a headline. Has the mystery of MH370 plane crash finally be solved? Expert claims he may have pinpointed the perfect hiding place. No one proofreads. I know. Where doomed Malaysian Airlines flight crashed. He's saying that it's in this it's in the ocean, and it's there's a large that the pilot planned to. We're going back to the pilot is an a-hole who killed himself and took people with him, and he came into the ocean so he could go and hide the plane. If you're trying to kill yourself, are you seriously like, and I'm gonna hide the plane? Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And the guy's wife is like, no, he didn't have I mean, everything was fine.
Yeah, move the commercial. Close that. Got a dog on a boat.
I know. It won't stop.
There you
go.
It's a
Stop
dog,
it.
though. That's kind of cool. Has the mystery of MH370 plane crash finally be solved? I can't get over that, Brad. I'm sorry. I'm a stickler for headlines.
Be it solved or no.
Wait, what's that cat? What's that evil cat selling for $3.58? Oh,
I know, right? Have I shown you the weird Etsy ads I keep getting?
What are you searching for, bro?
It's the most bizarre stuff you've ever seen.
But yeah, so you remember we've always heard that the pilot was of sound mind, and there's no big deal. I mean, right? This article purports that he allegedly split with his wife and was said to be furious that a relative opposition leader had been given a 5-year. So let me back up. Hang on a second. All right. Let's see. Others have previously also suggested that pilot Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, 53, was responsible for deliberately crashing MH370 in a murder-suicide, shocking scale, which he committed because of problems in his personal life. Shah had allegedly split with his wife, Faiza Khan, and was said to be furious that a relative, opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim, had been given a 5-year jail sentence for sodomy shortly before he boarded the plane for the flight to Beijing. The pilot's wife, however, has angrily denied any personal problems, while other family members and friends said he was a devoted family man and loved his job. It's just like, let him go. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Can
the
you hear
whole
Tan
thing
over
is
here
nuts.
making noises? I'm sorry.
No,
what are you doing?
Couldn't hear it. Your wall's on fire, though.
Did you hear that?
You
don't hear that? Okay.
Was that you or the dog?
It's him. You can hear him barking across the house, but you couldn't hear him over here stretching and going. Roar.
We thought that was you getting
It's
up out of
not
the
me.
chair.
I'm
thinking it may have been you getting up out of the chair.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so talk to me. Okay, I will admit that on a lot of conspiracy theories, I'm either way out in front of everyone or I'm way behind everyone, depending on the theory. So I realize I am the very last person to the party when it comes to fluoride in our drinking water and any harm that may cause. Okay? I need you to educate me. Talk to me about fluoride in the drinking water and why I should care, Brad.
Well, here's the thing. Fluoride in the drinking water, because that's one of those things we've all heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's good. You got fluoride in your drinking water.
Yeah, for your teeth and bones and all that nonsense, right?
Right. Except, of course, have the amount of cavities gone down?
Yeah.
It was in 1945 that Grand Rapids, Michigan. How far is Grand Rapids from? Who's got the worst? Who was the water?
Flint.
So Michigan and its fabulous history of water. First city in the world to fluoridate its drinking water. The fluoridation study was originally sponsored by the U.S. Surgeon General, but was taken over by the NIDR, which is the National Institute of Is it the National Institute of Drinking Water?
All right, there's too many national institutes.
I know. Yeah, first of all, yeah.
By the way, 113 miles between Grand Rapids and Flint.
There you go. Need we say more? They can't get their water straight up there. Shortly after the Institute's inception in 1948, the 15-year project, researchers monitored the rate of tooth decay among Grand Rapids' almost 30,000 school children. After just 11 years, Dean, who was now the director of the NIDR, announced an amazing finding: the caries rate among Grand Rapids school children born after fluoride was added to the water supply dropped more than 60%. That was, again, in 1945. Now, this is also about the same time. Let's remember that the whole cholesterol and heart disease link was being established, in air quotes, by the Farmington studies and the National Heart Association, which turned out was bogus, was absolutely bogus in its claim that cholesterol led to heart disease. And it's been the same thing with fluoride. They found the latest research. There have been links now between fluoride exposure and neurobehavioral problems, cognitive impairment, and IQ deficits.
So wait, hold on. Are you asserting, Brad Staggs,
Mm-hmm.
that in the last 50, 60 years that we've been pumping fluoride into the water? Are you suggesting that Americans are dumber? Was I picking up some of that?
I don't want to suggest that may be the cause behind most of the stupidity we see out there now. But if you were trying to establish a population of people who weren't all that bright, ergo did not pose much of a threat of opposition, and you could tell them, let's just put the fluoride in the water and you'll have fabulous teeth.
But will this make me dumber? You asked too many
questions. No, you'll be much smarter than that. Hey, you'll have a pilot study that was published in Neurotoxicology and Teratology found that long-term exposure to high levels of fluoride linked to cognitive impairment in children. A study was conducted. This one was conducted in rural Ethiopia, which, if you remember, for whatever reason, we always do these studies. Like Fauci did all the AIDS studies in Africa. You go over there where they're not going to push back because they're not going to push back, and you start doing it on these people in other countries, and it's heinous what Fauci.
And they're already so destitute that if you go over there promising something that'll make their life better, they'll jump at the chance, and it sucks, man. Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates, you evil sons of bitches.
It's crazy, isn't it? A study published in News Medical found that long-term high fluoride exposure during adolescence causes hippocampal impairments. Now, is that to say that some fluoride isn't good for your teeth? Probably not. But why do we have it in the damn drinking water? Why not just toothpaste? Asking for a friend. There is actually a lawsuit now. It's been filed against the Environmental Protection Agency by the Fluoride Action Network.
Oh, those are hipsters right there. Those that are attached to the Fluoride Action Network.
Nonprofit dedicated to educating on the issue of fluoride in community water. Fluoridation argues that Rachel Levine, Assistant Secretary for the Health and U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, blocked the report from public release in 2022 following pressure from the CDC and the dental lobby. Fascinating, isn't it?
Dick Levine.
This was a study right here, and you can find this one at fastcompany.com. The headline: Government study linked high fluoride exposure to lower IQ in kids. Why was it kept hidden?
So there's no typos in your headline.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough.
So this is bottled water, and of course there's no fluoride in it, according to the ingredients.
Well, I was going to say, according to the ingredients, where they filled that up out of the tap somewhere. Have you ever seen those stories about where bottled water comes from?
Well, yeah. So if it'll say not spring water, but what do they call it? Pure. I forget.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
the Coca-Cola one. Um, uh,
some guy's
it was
bathtub, and he's just.
it was let's see, source. The Coca-Cola bottled water source. Coca-Cola uses water from local municipal water supplies, filters it using the process of reverse osmosis. And then you adds minerals and some potassium chloride to the water, and ta-da!
Ta-da!
It's really
Magic
crazy. And all you got to do is, I mean, the information's out there. There is a dude
Yeah.
on YouTube. He has a channel called No Lab Coat Required, and
Okay.
his channel is really good, and he delves into a lot of this stuff with regard to our food and what we're eating and what we're being told is good and bad. You know, we've all heard that, the study comes out every few years. Salt's good for you, then it's bad for you, then it's good for you, then it's bad for you, and then eggs are bad, then they're good, then they're bad, then they're good. And when you get old, like I am, you've seen them do this over and over and over and over and over, to the point where, again, you don't believe anything that they tell you.
No.
Sad.
Nope.
Sad, isn't it?
Almost like it's by design to confuse us and leave us in this constant state of questioning and stuff. So
by the way,
I should.
Dasani, by the way, Coca-Cola Dasani comes from Detroit.
Yes, Detroit. Home of the most tasty water. Can I show you? Can I show you?
You can show me anything.
All right. The Phoenix Lights. Remember them?
Yes.
Phoenix Lights. That was the triangle shaped kind of lights over Phoenix. It's kind of how that works, Keith. And there's a picture of it. And if you haven't seen it, the videos are fascinating. There's I don't know, dozens of people that caught this with their camcorders. What was this? 1999? When was this? I don't even know.
I think it was late 90s.
Yeah, which the math would check out as far as 1999. Anyway,
97.
All right. So the Phoenix Light happens, reported all across the valley there, and you've always heard that a private pilot reported it, that, hey, I don't know what's going on up here, but there's lights over Phoenix, and there you go. Anyway, and I just stumbled across this video. I don't know if somebody tagged me on it or how I ran across this, but Kurt Russell was your private pilot that reported.
That is so bizarre.
It is so bizarre. It's a Jimmy Kimmel. It's just a quick 2-minute segment, and we can't play it here or else YouTube will get pissy. But there's a cool, that's where I got it. There's a cool account on Twitter, Echoing the Past. So if you go to @Echoing the Past, and they just post, old clips and stuff. So this is from 5 years ago, and it turned out that Kurt Russell was the private pilot who reported this strange happening above Phoenix, Arizona. I think that's incredible. That's fun stuff.
And the Phoenix Lights were like, some people said, like a mile across.
Yeah. He didn't say in this interview.
It covered the whole valley.
Let me see if I can. Let me try to. Hang on.
And
you keep talking.
I was going to say I'm pretty sure it was the. Let me double check, because I don't think. Yeah, it was. Fife Symington was the governor of Arizona at that point. Oh, there's the video. That is trippy.
Sure is.
He got up on the stage. He mocked the lights, and
why would he do that?
He had a dude come out in an alien costume, and it didn't go well for him.
Oh my
didn't.
gosh. No,
Yeah,
and it's so helpful because we can hear about stuff like a private pilot,
right.
reported. Okay, whatever. Somebody could have made that up. It could be anybody. It could be some lunatic. But when you see this level-headed interview with Kurt Russell, you're like, wait, okay, so
Hell,
that
I
really
may be. Hold on a second. I may be. No, yeah, but here's the weird thing about Fife Symington is that he, let's see, he did an interview with the Daily Courier. Symington said, "I'm a pilot. I know just about every machine that flies. It was bigger than anything that I've ever seen. It remains a great mystery. Other people saw it, responsible people. I don't know why people would ridicule it. It was enormous and inexplicable. Who knows where it came from? A lot of people saw it. I saw it too. It was dramatic. It couldn't
So
be,
why
it
did
couldn't have been
he?
flares." But then he says, as governor during the Phoenix Lights, though, he said he would investigate the event, but then he went on to hold a press conference where he had his chief of staff dress up in an alien costume.
I got it right here.
It's bizarre, right?
Why did he do that?
I don't
Why did he
know.
mock it?
I don't know.
Get that.
I don't know whether this was a situation where it's like, dude, you're giving this, we don't want people knowing about. It may have been a government project. Who the hell knows? And he's out there
What can
giving
you
it
believe
credence.
anymore?
Right. And so we don't need people, governors, people legit go out there and give this thing any credence. And so then he, does that to.
And if you don't want your political enemies to find out about that thing, Governor,
right,
you're going to go out there and you're going to mock this.
Yeah. It's more of the dirty tricks. And remember, it was a year ago that we had UFO investigations on Capitol Hill. And what happened to them?
What happened to that?
Nothing.
Yeah. It's a good point, but Jamie, we all need to go to our water departments, complain about the fluorides making our children dumber, believe giving us dementia. Filter that shit out. Yes. Okay.
Jamie's fabulous, by the way. Jamie sends me amazing stuff.
All right.
I'm crazy sometimes, but.
Well, aren't you though?
All right. Yes.
Hey, here's another video that this just flew under the radar for me. This is from about 6 months ago on 60 Minutes. And I'm fascinated by this. And this isn't Neuralink. This isn't Elon's thing, but it's kind of in that vein. Have you seen this video with this guy typing with his brain? This is great.
What is 45,000?
Okay, can you hear the audio? Because I only have it in one channel. Can everybody hear it? Okay. Okay. He's giving him a math problem.
689 divided by 67.
Sure.
He
He's just thinking
silently asks the computer and then hears the answer through vibrations transmitted through his skull and into his inner ear.
6, 8, 1.9, 2, 5.
And you can hear kind of off in the background the voice, giving him the answer.
Exactly right.
One more.
The answer right.
What's the
That would be
largest?
awesome if you were in school.
And what is the population?
The screen shows how long it takes the computer to read the words that he's saying to himself.
Sophia, 1.21 million.
That is correct. You just Googled that.
I did.
You could be an expert in any subject. You have the entire internet in your head.
That's the idea.
Okay,
Wow.
then. Holy
That
crap.
would have been, imagine you're in college and you've got that.
The things you could do.
What? Okay. And a legit question anymore is, if that technology is available, why bother to go to college?
Right. Or let's say you're out on a date. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got the goofy thing strapped to the side of my head, but trust me.
Well, that's now, but later that's going to be the size of a paper clip, and it's going to
be
underneath
and
the skin behind your ear.
So she's telling you about her hometown, about where she grew up. Boy, I grew up there in old Fargo, North Dakota, and then all of a sudden you're
89,000 people there. The problem is that she's got the same thing buried in her head. She's Googling you at the same time she finds out you're a perv. So it
Okay.
levels the playing field.
I got one last story to share with you. We may have a breakthrough in the whereabouts of Jimmy Hoffa, his body. Where is Jimmy Hoffa? Did I send this to you? Like, have you seen this update?
I don't think so.
Do you have a guess as to where he might be?
He could be in the backyard of the motel for all I know. He could be under my truck. I mean, there have been so many theories about why and where he is that.
So every now and then, different theories come up, different tips come in. The most recently was various locations in Michigan and New Jersey. In New Jersey, the Pulaski Skyway Bridge came in as a tip in 2022. The son of a former mobster reported that to authorities. They went and checked, and the search came up empty. So an independent investigative team known as the Case Breakers is now urging the FBI to launch a new investigation, this time in Wisconsin.
I knew it. It had to be Wisconsin.
Why did it have to be Wisconsin?
Cheese.
I don't get it. The Case Breakers, composed of former law enforcement officers and detectives, believe Hoffa's remains might be located beneath the old Milwaukee Brewers Stadium. So let me get the picture up here for you. Well, hold on.
How many stadiums though have we heard he's been under?
I know. He's supposed to be in the Meadowlands in New Jersey. There's old Jimmy Hoffa back in the day. I don't think he looks like that anymore.
He might.
He you know what? He might. Yes. You don't know what to believe anymore. Let me get this have a tab open here. Where did I put it? Okay. Okay. So let me just scroll through this article here. So there's Jimmy Hoffa. There is the old Milwaukee Stadium. Now, if you scroll down a little bit here, I'm going to scroll down. The team received a clue written on an ace of spades. There you go. Okay. And it says,
oh, look at that. Okay.
It says a former Chicago cop with connections to Mafia Don Joe Ayuppa. So anyway, a veteran of 40 years in law enforcement, Jim Zimmerman, learned about the card from his girlfriend, Michelle, who was this guy's niece who had that card.
Right.
Okay. Michelle agreed to reveal the information in 2020 after keeping it secret for years out of fear of retaliation. So the guy, Harold Wathers, had written J. Hoffa, 9/16/95. I don't know. Let's see, had a date. In third base, Milwaukee ballpark on the card. Okay. What is the 95? That I didn't see. Okay. Here we go.
That must have been the day he wrote on the card.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks. The Case Breakers believe the ballpark mentioned is the since demolished Milwaukee County Stadium. Third base location is now under a parking lot next to the current Brewers Stadium, American Family Field. Using satellite images and old photos, they determined that a commemorative plaque marking where home plate once stood is about 90 feet off the mark. The group provided an 18-page dossier to the FBI detailing their findings. Zimmerman conducted a ground-penetrating radar tests at the site in 2020, revealing a disturbed area where third base would have been. The radar only penetrated 5 feet because of a clay layer, suggesting a dig took place that was quickly filled back in. The team also brought in a cadaver dog expert whose canine, Moxie, signaled the presence of remains multiple times near the suspected area.
Wait a minute. On the parking lot?
Yes. Despite
so the dog is
these findings,
Uh-huh.
your FBI has been skeptical and is hesitant to investigate further. Wah, wah.
They're too busy rounding grandmothers up from J6.
Look at this. So here's what it looks like today. confirmed location of County Stadium former. Okay, home plate was here on the right, and third base is listen. No, I'm sorry. Home plate. You can see the shape there. Home plate there. Third base on the right. And so they can't see any further. It sounds compelling enough to start digging, does it not?
You know how expensive it is to dig, and then they got that's a nice parking lot.
Well, and you got to call 811 before you.
Right. I mean, you're going to cut off somebody's cable.
Right. So hold on. So then back in the 60s, then did they bury him under third base? Like, is that what they're saying? Like in the field? And then what, the grounds crew lit him in? Yeah. Whenever you're done burying that body, just smooth it over. We don't want anybody twisting.
No, it was 82. He disappeared. Excuse me. I'm sorry. He disappeared under mysterious circumstances in 75. When was the previous stadium built?
It was there then.
It was.
Let's see. Yeah, it was already there. Hold on.
Then I agree. Why would you go out into the field where it's fairly obvious that you would have
right. Of all the places, why do you have to bury him right?
Right. I mean, unless you're trying to keep track of him, but
right. That you always know. 1953. So the Brewers played there. Hold on. So the Braves played there 53 to 65, and then the Brewers from 70 to 2000. So he disappeared in 75. So yeah, that's weird.
75. You wouldn't. Why would you?
So that
unless unless it's the mob and they're like, watch this.
Yeah, we're gonna put
FBI,
him.
FBI can kiss my ass. Watch this. And who's gonna?
You could have buried him anywhere in the universe, and you chose one of the most difficult places to get to. That is the rub in this theory, I think.
It is strange, but then again, we've all seen Goodfellas, we've all seen Casino. Mm-hmm. We know that. I mean, they got a little eccentric. We're going to put Jimmy. Did he love the Brewers or what? No, it wasn't the Brewers playing there then. It was the.
Yeah, it was the Brewers.
It was the Brewers.
Okay. In the 70s, yeah. Hold on. Did Jimmy Hoffa love the mill?
He always wanted to play third base. he had a dream of playing third base. Hold on a second. What the parking lot restaurant? This theory is that he was tossed into a barrel and they poured acid on him. I'm going to buy that one. That one's the quickest and easiest.
Mm-hmm.
You put the body, I mean, not Breaking Bad, Ozark and Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah. I haven't seen Ozark, but Breaking Bad was what I was thinking when you talked about the acid.
Fold them up, you stick them in a barrel, you put the acid on top of them, and that gets dumped in a swamp somewhere outside of Nolans. And poof.
I'm just looking here. Hold on a second here. This article I'm reading is from 3 days ago. And it's basically the same thing I just read you. I just see if there's any new information here.
Jimmy always.
I don't know. Okay, here we go. Here's what I was looking for. Just what we were talking about, Brad. Further fueling Zimmerman's suspicions, he's on the right track. Is a series of apparently odd communications he had written with the stadium's groundskeepers. When originally reaching out to the groundsman, inquiring about the history of the old family field site, Zimmerman claims the groundsmen were incredibly interested in speaking with the case breakers. However, as soon as Hoffa's name was mentioned, all communication ceased, he claimed. Will we ever know the truth?
Nope.
All right. Well, man, I appreciate you hanging out with me here on another Barfly episode.
I love barfleeing.
Barfleeing, yeah. You're my favorite barfly pal.
You say that to all the boys. We're going to do this again.
We've already got some good topics to discuss.
Let's do it again, and let's do it again soon.
Like how soon?
I don't know. What are you doing tomorrow?
Well, I'm thinking tomorrow we can do some other kind of show. Maybe we
Oh,
don't do
okay.
a Barfly.
Do I have to
Maybe we
dress
invite another
differently?
friend of ours, and then we
I
just
dress
play animal
differently
videos
for
and
that?
stuff.
I like animal videos.
Let me see here. Hang on a second. Stop sharing. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do the Friday live stream, and then we'll do another Barfly coming up soon enough, and cover all sorts of fun and interesting topics. Everybody,
Right?
do you have any special requests for tomorrow's show, Brad? Anything particular you want to talk about that you want to make sure I bring to the table? Because I mean,
You know what?
if you want.
I just think that you and your magnetic personality, I think that's really all that I need.
That's all you need. All right.
You're all I need to get by, really. It gets right down to it.
Cool.
You're
all right. Maybe we cancel tomorrow.
I need to get by.
I knew there was a song in there somewhere. Okay, kids. So we will join you at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the Friday live stream with myself, Brad Staggs, and our buddy Ed Bishop. And you can watch it either at youtube.com/@the-mic or on my Twitter page at Keith Malinak. Until then, everyone hey, the NFL starts tonight. I know Brad's really excited about that. Chiefs and Ravens. Are you excited about it?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right. So see, he's a big football fan.
There you go.
As long as they don't kneel. As long as they don't kneel. All right, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.